We are live, Sports Keto Wrestling, yes, and Wrestle Binge here on YouTube, and of course, wherever you guys are getting the content as well. I am Kellam here at NBC Tower. How fitting, we were on NBC tonight.
Really?
Saturday night's main event, and of course, we also are going to discuss the massive stadium affair that All Elite Wrestling pulled off. What a day for both fans of WWE, AEW, or just, this thing called pro wrestling. The beloved wrestling journalist himself. The one, the only, the man who made the magazines what they were. Mr. Bill Apter joining me. Bill,
I always say I was the front guy with the magazines. We had a whole great team of people, just like WWE and AEW and the companies. They have the front men, but the men behind them and the ladies behind them do that great work as well. I just want to, before we get into I want to welcome everybody, first of all. It's great that we're here live on Wrestle Binge. So thank you, all you bingers. Bingers, can we call them?
Probably, yeah.
So here's what's going on. I have a very emotional reaction to the retirement of Bill Goldberg. In terms of personally, he is one of my closest friends. I love him very much. I've been friends with him since the day he started. When he showed up in WCW, the first time he was sitting on a crate backstage. And I went over, I said, "Hi, my name is Bill Apter." He didn't know who I was. I said, "I worked with the magazines." And I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Bill Goldberg." I said, "Oh, what are they going to call you?" "I don't know." He says, "I think Goldberg." Oh, very original. So throughout his career, he and I kept in touch. He was a $1 million seller on the magazine covers and in the wrestling business. I wasn't sure that I wanted to see one more match unless it was going to be a quick kill, because he was, in my opinion, in his prime, he was the Mike Tyson of pro wrestling.
Yeah, he was built on the explosive, short, crazy, wild.
Yeah, that one-round knockout guy. Yeah. The match tonight, I could see, and it was so nostalgic to see Doug Dillinger knock on the door and bring him out, and his son Gage.
The walkout was wonderful, wasn't it? His son was there, Ernest the Cat Miller. Josh Barnett, a great MMA fighter from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
I believe Chuck Zito, someone he knows.
Chuck Zito was there. My son Brandon and I, back in the WCW days, we actually wrote music to the Goldberg entrance theme. Are you ready for it?
Yes, I would love to hear it.
Wrestling, we love wrestling, we love wrestling. And Goldberg. Yeah, it's a $1 million seller back before the internet. But the goosebumps that my son texted that he got and I got during that whole thing. But I could tell when Bill was coming out and he didn't blow any smoke out of his mouth that it wasn't, that same energy that he walked down with. I think he tried. But also when he got in the ring, the fans went crazy, and he looked like he was, aching a little bit. But the part that bothered me there was he's standing there with Gunther, and there was a long commercial.
The commercials on something, we'll talk about that, because I know I saw a lot of people responding to that. And this is maybe the third or fourth new incarnation of WWE doing Saturday night's main event, a part of their most current and active deal with NBC Universal that expands the relationship for SmackDown. And of course, Raw is over on Netflix. And then you get these premium live events, at least for us here in the United States, on Peacock. I know in some parts of the world, you guys get Saturday night's main event maybe free.
I watched it on NBC.
Yeah, I watched it on Peacock as well. Yeah. And we have the same breaks as well. We will talk about All Elite Wrestling. I know we have some people joining us a little bit, right? Don't worry, we'll talk about All In. But we're fresh off this final match from Goldberg.
I do want to let the fans know, by the way, if they have a question, they can put it in here. But if you have a question and you need to get it answered, we have what they'll call our pay-per-view super chat. Do you want to explain how the fans can do that?
Yeah, you'll see the super chat button there, and that'll guarantee that you guys can jump ahead of the line, give whatever you can to support the channel. It really helps us out and move along, and helps us out doing more live stuff like this as well. I mean, I know we do live shows with Vince Russo after Monday Night Raw every week, and we have you with Unscripted with Dr. Chris Featherstone, and we have a bunch of stuff. Also, if you're looking for even more, and we will have more breaking news about everything.
By the way, breaking news, they spelled your last name wrong.
They have one L in it. I'm aware of that. It's Kellam.
Let's get back to Goldberg.
Yeah.
And now he's in the ring with Gunther, and 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes of commercials. And I'm wondering what the hell is going on. I want to see Goldberg pacing back and forth. I don't know if there was any Goldberg pacing back and forth. One thing that bothered me, and we're going to talk about this also later on because there's going to be people joining us later on, so I don't want to give the whole thing away right now. I want to jump into AEW, but I have a couple of words to say about the match. It was tailored, of course, to what Goldberg could and couldn't do. A lot of elbow smashes. The sight of the knee brace at the beginning telegraphed to me that Gunther would have a target immediately there. So I don't know why they telegraphed that, but they did. So the match, I like to do like a 1 to 10 rating. Again, I love Goldberg, but I didn't want to see it end this way. I actually wanted to see him win this somehow, and then Seth Rollins. The Seth Rollins match also had a leg injury, and he was pinned without any issue. He was pinned with no issue with the leg injury.
Bill, I don't know how tuned in you were immediately when they did that, and we'll talk about the whole match, and we'll kind of zip through the whole card. And we are going to get into AEW All In. They have a lot of new things.
It was also a leg deal.
Some people giving their 1 to 10 ratings here on Goldberg's last match, a 19-minute affair. He loses to the Ring General Gunther, who had a tough bill here. You have a 58-year-old Bill Goldberg, who also, I'll say this, Bill showed up. You could say anything about his movement. He looked really in shape and ready for this. He looked he clearly trained his ass.
But the end of the match, to me, I didn't want to see that happen. I wanted to see him win and Seth Rollins come out that like he was faking the injury earlier on and put in the Money in the Bank. So the match to me on a 1 to 10 would be, what would you give an Oive for a Goldberg match?
Are you saying it was a bad match, Bill?
No, it was okay for what it was.
Okay, yeah.
It was okay. I don't know if I can give a number to it just yet.
Well, let's see what the fans are saying. You want to see what people are chiming in here?
Do we have any super chats to start with?
Well, we do have a super chat here. Let's
get our super chat.
We go to the super chats first here. Thank you for the support here, Prodigy. He goes, wow, that was terrible. Seems like he wasn't a fan of it.
Again, Oive.
All right. I asked you guys for ratings, though. I don't mind. You guys can jump in there with ratings.
Yeah, but again, it's hard for me to judge the match because I wanted to see the fountain. I knew Goldberg wasn't going to be the fountain of youth, but while
I thought you got glimmers of it. I thought
some of it.
The spear through the barricade. He was very explosive.
Yeah, but he didn't do. You know what he didn't do? He didn't do the. I was waiting for that.
Also, I mean, he's a guy who hasn't been in the ring in almost 3 years.
I know, but I'm sure he's been working out in Georgia. I know. I interviewed his son Gage, who I think will wind up.
His son Gage nearly got physical with Gunther.
Yeah, and I think Gage will wind up in the ring against Gunther down the line. But let me back up. Okay, it was a very emotional day here in Apter's Alley watching pro wrestling. Two of the most emotional things I have seen in such a long time was the AEW probable retirement speech of Adam Cole. When you talk about legitimate tears, legit tears, not put on for an act or anything, The man this has been his craft for such a long time. He's devoted his entire life to it. And tonight, coming out and saying that this could be his swan song and so emotional, I went along with him. And I got to tell you, that was one of two places in AEW's great All In that moved me. Did you see his speech, Double K?
I did. I'll be frank. When we get into AEW, I only got to see a good chunk of the show.
Well, I thought we were
I
going
was
to
I was on
AEW
here
right
for.
now. I thought we were
Yeah, I
going
know.
to AEW.
Yeah, no. We'll cover the whole card, and we'll cover other things from Saturday night's main event. We're covering like big notes from the shows here, guys.
Well,
I know
I've got my notepad here. The other very emotional point was the underdog in the vacant TNT title match, Dustin Rhodes, winning that four-way match and sitting in the corner with real legit tears, just like Adam Cole. Moved me because I've known the Rhodes family, if you will. You know, I've known the Meccan Dream for years, baby, if you will. All my little babies. And it just was so nice to see a surprise that it wasn't going to be one of the established guys. When I say established, I mean the younger guys. But they gave it to a legend. And he deserved it. He absolutely deserved it. So I'm going to let you run the train here with what you want to talk about. And but like I said, if we have any other super chats, let's cut in and let the super chats go in, and tell them one more time about the super chats, Double K.
Yeah, super chats. You guys can donate with super chats, and it can help out the channel and help us grow. Those go right to the front of the line. We will get your comments and different things in here to kind of like gauge a conversation. But if you want to jump right in and get us to stop, we'll cover them. We'll cover them right away.
It also,
you guys basically
it also
you
covers
front of the line service.
It also covers my Tic Tac habit, which
oh, you were having Tic Tac habit.
Yeah,
yes.
And you know Teddy Long calls them Tic Crack. But
yeah, I could see it. I've seen you with them before.
You take the wheel, and like I said, if we have any super chats, which I hope we do, let them jump right in.
So Goldberg closes out the night with his final match. He loses to Gunther, as we mentioned. This was advertised. Some people kind of were like, oh, well, this is a world title match. Maybe this won't be his actual last match. Some feel the need that Jey Uso's world title reign ended after 51 days after he won it at WrestleMania from Gunther was done just to make this match possible. Maybe that's the case. For a 19-minute match, I know you gave your take on it. I thought this is the best you could get out of Bill Goldberg at his age.
Oh, yeah. It was tailored to Bill Goldberg. Yeah, absolutely.
It was tailored to Bill Goldberg, yeah.
Did they have to have Gunther take off the leg gear, the leg brace of Goldberg, and intimidate him with it and intimidate his son? It leaves a door open for something with the son, of course.
Yes.
But I just think it made Goldberg look a little too weak when they did that.
You know, I'm all right with it because you need a little bit more conniving sense of Gunther. He was still dominating him. He was still going with it. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Yeah, I haven't been live here on WrestlePinch in quite some time. You usually get me over on the other Sports Kid Wrestling channel, by the way, too. So I appreciate it here. People saying why not?
What's going on?
Oh, just comments there, Bill. I had some comments. People were just saying it was nice that it was back. People saying why not? He got heat for it. He did get heat for it, and you need to get heat on the villain on the way out. And people were obviously very emotional into what Bill Goldberg was doing here.
Absolutely.
I will say this though, and maybe this is just the presentation. I'm speaking for a lot of people. The commercial interruption is not something we're not conditioned to. I think with WWE, especially on Peacock, they have them, but when you're watching like a traditional, PLE. Because this isn't a PLE, this is a broadcast TV event, right? And you just get to have it streaming. You still have the same, you don't have the same, these interruptions that don't come after the bell. They're in the match. They're right after the introductions. All right, the guys in the ring, let's get to the match, And I get it, it's supposed to compel you. I work in broadcasting. I understand compelling people to keep watching and that advertising matters.
Well, they got to pay. The sponsors are paying for the
and the sponsors are paying for it. And there were sponsors that paid to have their ad during a specific match with a specific name.
Yeah, but I didn't want to see a long commercial when Goldberg got in the ring and they were facing each other, because I was going, what's going on? Are they pacing? What are they doing?
Yeah, and it just like it takes the momentum. It turns the momentum completely down when you have to do that so much.
Yep, absolutely,
so much, and like,
absolutely.
and like on Peacock, I don't mind the ads because they'll put them in after a match or something. It doesn't bother me nearly as much. I think people are kind of conditioned to them. And on Netflix, I don't know what it is for you guys internationally. On Raw, they have ads. I know some people said when they went to Netflix, because Netflix has mainly no ads, they have an ad tier, and they're going to put ads on live shows. And when you watch it live or on demand later, it's a different experience. My assumption is if you watched this Saturday Night Main Event card later on demand, that the advertising element would be different. And I also assume, I know we got to see some of what Bill Goldberg spoke in front of the crowd for a little bit, and then it kind of cut off. I wish they would have kept it going.
Well, it's NBC, so it's, they have something else at 10 o'clock.
No, but I mean, at least on the Peacock side, just keep going. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you don't have to interrupt it and go and not do that. So people saying they hate Peacock. I don't hate Peacock. There's a lot of stuff on Peacock I really like. I like.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, it's and just I wish they would have. I think I wish they would have ended the match maybe 4 or 5 minutes earlier, so we could have seen the rest of that speech.
Yes.
Maybe.
All right. Jeremy
I
saying
didn't think they were coming back at all.
Ads maybe miss the end of the match. I'm heated. I don't know exactly how that happened for you sometimes.
Who is this now? What is it?
Just somebody, Jeremy commenting here, popping with it is like, I hate this one here from Jay. You can see, I hate what WWE did with that ending. Here's the thing. I don't know if it's with them. It's with your broadcast partner. I wouldn't put the heat on WWE. Also, this was filmed. It's going to be online. You're going to see people talking about it. It was being here. And other people saying WWE.
Wait a minute. I'm going to talk about the ending. Okay.
Sure.
Usually when someone passes out from a sleeper hold, the referee's got to do this 3 times. He did it once. Right?
Yeah.
So that, to me, being the wrestling fan, I was wondering when it ended, why didn't they do the 3 arm thing and then say it's over? That's what I expected.
Here's why I'll say it. It's a very old school wrestling type thing.
But they still do it. They do it on Raw and SmackDown.
But I've also seen people just do that. You drop your arm and that's it. And the
ref shakes your arm
and that's it's more of a shoot style thing. And I also think I get it. I don't know. I don't think it was the biggest thing. I do like that Gunther got the kick out of a jackhammer. I thought that was interesting. And also that, like, I'll say this, give it to Gunther. He made Bill Goldberg look and feel like he could hang with him in a brawling element, and they didn't have Bill Goldberg do anything that Bill Goldberg couldn't.
I agree. And by the way, again, if you fans want your questions to be answered right away, hit that super chat button. So yeah, good luck, Bill, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Definitely. Let's run down the other elements here of WWE Saturday night's main event. Of course, you mentioned that match earlier in the night that had people thinking, Bill, that since Mr. Money in the Bank himself, with Paul Heyman at his side, was taking on someone who was resenting him, and some fans wish won Mr. Money in the Bank himself, LA Knight. They do the kind of springboard lion salt. He lands on the knee. Seth Rollins has a well-recorded history of legitimate knee injuries. Yep. People think maybe this isn't a real knee injury. He's talking to them. Is it bad? Was it a ploy for him to like catch, LA Knight and fake an injury? That's kind of what I thought in the moment. And then he got up and then he took a BFT, like the flash finisher, and you could tell LA Knight was frustrated with it. And some people immediately thought that was Seth Rollins basically throwing a wool over everyone's eyes, and then he's going to come out at the end of the night. And
that's what I thought. He was going to come out in the Gunther Goldberg match. When they called in the doctor, the doctor could have stopped it at that point. But it's rare that you'll see Seth Rollins just take a clean pin like that. I was waiting for a kick out or a shoulder up.
Do you think that was a little, like, if it isn't a legitimate injury, and I'm on the side that I think it was just like a part of the show. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
And now you really, really don't know when Seth is going to show up, because is he injured? Is he not injured?
Did you think Braun Breaker or his that Braun Breaker would come in and attack LA Knight.
They weren't there, so that was an odd
Yeah, that
thing.
was another surprise.
Yeah, they weren't there. I mean, if it was something where he legitimately got hurt and then they just had to have him take a finish, and he just kind of like stumbled up, took a BFT, which he could take, even with the bad knee in that circumstance, and he got pinned, and that was the match. It was odd. A lot of odd finishes on there.
Sometimes I think when they're on NBC that they need to make things look even more realistic for the person that's not a wrestling fan and channel turning and saying, "Oh, this stuff is all fake. That guy's going to." I
could see. You know what? To me, as someone who watches wrestling with this kind of like, let me pull it back as far back as I can to get as many people involved in it, and that's why you do Goldberg's last match on network television. You didn't do it on premium live events, you did this on free over-the-air TV, which I think is an appeal, and I also think it'll do a pretty fair number.
I'm sure it will.
For sure. Looking around here, though, that was a weird finish. I thought the cleanest finish of the night was Gunther and Goldberg, right? And that still had some gaga. Every finish on the show had some weird outside element. Like I almost thought like some of them were just a little bit too overworked. No one had like a clean like fight to the end type of finish on the show.
What did you think of the Randy Orton match? I am not against, after seeing him, I'm not against Jelly Roll being part of this thing, because it looks like he's probably been a wrestling fan his whole life.
Yeah.
And like Logan Paul, who got it right away, I have a feeling that Jelly Roll already gets it and can probably work at this point. So now
you see, he did a choke slam on somebody, but that was like people really just bumping for him. He's a heavier set guy. He's lost a lot of weight, but I'll say this: he's extremely popular. In the same way that Bad Bunny, when you got Bad Bunny, you weren't just getting like a DC list celebrity. In terms of music, he's probably one of the 20 most well-known musical stars in the world. So you're getting a real star here. Logan Paul already proved himself a long time ago as a pro wrestler, and with a gaga finish like they did, where Orton was able to.
By the way, nothing about Lady Gaga. This is about Jelly Roll. Go ahead.
But I'm going for. I did like how they shot that though. How he got down on a knee and they went real tight, so you wouldn't see Drew McIntyre coming in if you were watching on TV.
Yeah,
and you heard the crowd swell, and it sold. And now they're going to do a tag team match. It's a celebrity angle.
No. It's going to be great. The fans are going to go crazy on it. And anytime Drew McIntyre gets pinned, it doesn't matter. He comes back stronger. It doesn't matter.
He's kind of Teflon in that regard. He's kind of Teflon. Yeah, I agree with that.
Doesn't matter. Definitely doesn't matter.
People saying Kev is so bad, top 20 known. Yes, in the United States for sure. Absolutely 100%.
Say that again. I'm on my cell phone, so I can't read.
Sure. I'm getting someone telling me that I'm so bad that he's one of the top tone. He's probably up there. He's one of the most well-known singers. He has a bunch of huge.
Jelly Roll. I'm a big country music guy. He's right up there.
Just because you don't listen to the music, like I don't listen to a bunch of Jelly Roll tracks. There's some I play on the radio. You got some rock songs I play.
I do.
You don't have to apologize. People saying no, he's not even in the top 100. Okay.
By the way, I do like that.
Congratulations to a new member of the channel as well. Someone just became a member. You guys can join the member and get all the Patreon benefits as well. Like Jocko just joined, which is really great. Other people not fond of Jelly Roll here. We're getting some very negative Jelly Roll comments coming in, Bill.
Well, that's okay. I mean, you either like him or not. It's going to be a celebrity or not a celebrity. One of the things that I want to touch on is Jesse the Body, of course, at the beginning when he called Joe Tessitore Mean Joe. I've always said that Joe Tessitore, I love him. He's got a Gene Okerlund flair to him. He really does.
Stop. Would you stop? You have all those. Put that cigarette out. Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah. What else about Saturday night's main event?
We had brother versus brother. We had Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso. This was a Samoan affair for the United States Championship. Another match with a dusty finish. Tala Tonga getting in the ring, getting physical, and Jacob Fatu returns to WWE.
Yeah, but he's been on the show. You know who I was waiting for Jey Uso to make an appearance there. I'm glad Fatu came out, but I was waiting for Jey Uso to come out through the audience, and the giant Samoan now took a couple of bumps, and I want to see that guy be like totally. You can't knock him off his feet. When you got a giant like that, you shouldn't be able to knock him over the ropes.
Yeah, and he went flying over the ropes.
He did.
He did it like as a distraction thing. He didn't get thrown over. So I guess there's something in that. I thought this was fine. Obviously, I think they're going to drag this out and assemble some type of team of Jacob and one side of the Samoans versus another. Is this too much of inter-bloodline warfare for you? And obviously, at what point does this involve Roman Reigns?
I think down the line it will, that he'll come back to try and settle things. I just want to go back, by the way, to we were talking about Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. I give that a 6 or 7 on a 1 to 10. What other match?
It was a well-worked match, though, too, considering the moving parts and things they had outside of the match.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6 or 7. In terms of the solo match, probably a 5 or a 6. Yeah, Solo's gotten so much better than he used to be.
Yeah, and I think he wrestles to his pace. He doesn't speed up in a way that doesn't feel convincing for a guy of his size. So I thought I agree with that. Also, I love the German suplex on the apron. That was dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
And also, people are critical of the Usos, both Jay and Jimmy, that they rely too much on super kicks. That there's just simply too much of their arsenal of what they have. But I liked it. I thought it was strong and had different elements that like made it seem dynamic, and it was good. It was really
very
good.
Effective. Those super kicks are very, very effective.
Yeah, at least they're good at them. They don't look soft. So I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed the whole show.
Mm-hmm. I thought this was more entertaining in terms of matches. I did think it was a little over. Like, I just thought there was too many. I just would have liked a clean ending outside of the main event. There was an hour and a half. That type. Well,
you know what? I think after spending almost 5 hours watching AEW. Not just me, but most wrestling fans going right to watch Saturday night's main event, you got a little energy loss in your fandom.
Yeah. If you made it an all-day affair. Overall, Saturday night's main event, as we kind of just run down the big notes from the show, I thought it was a pretty strong show for a 2 hour. It's worth noting it's 2 hours. The commercials are just something they're going to have to get over. Is this something where more people are going to want to watch it on demand? With less of that live flowing, because you can't fast forward or any of those other elements. I don't know. It's just the thing is with streaming now, you're so conditioned, right, Bill, to not have as much commercial interruption with something.
Correct.
And I do think there's just
and you know what else? What? No one is next.
No one is next. I want to see all Bill. I want to see all Bill Goldberg's speech here.
I do too. It's probably on YouTube down the line.
Yeah, my assumption is to pick
that up. Yeah.
Other people commenting with all different takes here. Goldberg should have turned.
Let's hear the take.
Goldberg should have turned. This one's ridiculous. Goldberg should have turned heel when Cody came out. His facial expressions for a heel are awesome, and we never saw heel Goldberg. You saw heel Goldberg. It didn't work. They only did it for a minute.
Heelberg.
Yeah, Heidelberg. People saying this here. People not into either show. Jan Hasir saying Saturday night's main event was crap, as was All In. I don't know,
really? If I thought All In, I watched it from the beginning until the Kenny Omega match, and I thought it was a fabulous show. We'll go over the matches. There was a lot of emotion and a lot of great stuff in there. So I'm not really sure what you were watching.
All right. Yeah, we'll get to All In here in a minute. Obviously, a very momentous show, a massive stadium affair, the biggest stadium show for AEW in the United States.
Good crowd, too, about 28,000 people. Yeah.
Yeah, their biggest crowd they've had in North America. Brian Salazar says Gunther versus Joe Hendry at SummerSlam. If no one gets the sarcasm, Gunther has wrestled an 80-year-old Goldberg and Pat McAfee recently. Gunther just takes these outside of the expected realm matches moving forward. That'd be interesting. Obviously, Joe Hendry is going to be on the upcoming Slammiversary card, which is next weekend, and that's the biggest TNA show in years.
Yeah,
it has the backing of WWE involved with it, and obviously today's Great American Bash show. I haven't seen a look.
I don't think Gunther, Joe Henry, in my opinion, is a billboard match yet.
No, I don't think
No,
that's a billboard match yet.
no, not yet.
So let's get into AEW All In. This was a massive, massive show for them. This was a show that I think culminated a lot of steering the ship back in the right direction for AEW.
Absolutely. And the crowd was a large part of it.
Yeah, the crowd was a large part of it. I also thought the overall build and changes that they've made in, say, basically since the spring have really turned things around.
Mhm.
Hangman Page is a beloved superstar within their ranks. They tried some stuff with the Elite. It didn't work. They got him away from Swerve Strickland, but they acknowledged the history there when he was a heel. And they've got him back into being more level-headed. And they kind of just tied up some loose logical ends here. And we get to see what we think is the end of the Death Riders. And they had this wild AEW World Texas Death Match, went 35 minutes, nearly 36 minutes.
Oh, you're going to the end of the show already. I got my notes here with the whole lineup.
I'll work my way through I'll work my way through those big match shows, and I know you have your notes, and we'll dig right into them, Bill. Adam Hangman Page wins the world title. He defeats Moxley. This match sees the return of Bryan Danielson, which has a lot of people thinking that maybe Bryan Danielson is wrestling for them. I know you didn't get to see that chunk of the show. I didn't, because I was on air for a one-on-one.
I saw a replay.
What do you think of Hangman Page, though, as the champion? What do you think of them deciding to finally get the belt off Moxley?
About time, because John Moxley, he's a street fighter. He's their version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's the bottom line, son. But that world title, Moxley was with the Death Riders, and it was just too mixed up all the time. Now we have a guy who's been there since the beginning of time in AEW, and we know that he's a world champion. Of course, MJF is going to be the top contender. We'll get to that. But I think now to have the belt on someone that's not with a group, like the Death Riders. It's not with a group. He's on his own. He's a single world heavyweight champion. It's about time. I would have liked to have seen a world championship around someone else's waist than John Moxley a long time ago. And again, no knock to John Moxley, but it just didn't feel like world championship to me.
Yeah, the character had been kind of flat, I think, for a while. We had seen enough of this kind of like hyper overzealous John Moxley.
Yeah, not defending the title.
And like hiding the championship, which on paper is an interesting idea that you physically don't see it, right? But it just wasn't executed in a way that made you feel like, ooh, we know it's in there. We know it's in there, but we don't get to, there's none of that like showmanship element with it. It was very kind of dry, and then the goons hit the ring. So I will say the pops from the crowd for all of the insane violence that they did in this match. They did a lot of it.
Well, AEW fans remind me, and I've mentioned this before, of what the current ECW fan might be. Because AEW, like ECW, is a variety show of that kind of match with Hangman Page and John Moxley, and also really good wrestling matches as well.
Obviously, a lot of fans giving this great praise. Some fans here in different posts online that this is in our chat saying, tremendous match, was special prior to the interferences, which is what made it compelling as a wrestling main event. We really got a bloodbath in the beginning. There was fork, there was glass, there was dead eyes through tables. There was a lot of violence, 35 minutes. A lot of the show, I will say this is the one thing from All In that I can gather. Mind you, I'm working while it's happening, so I don't have the same grasp of it. The one thing I got from people was the show was too long. It was simply
5 hours.
Too long. It was 5 hours too long. It may be one of the longest wrestling shows that we've had on.
However, there was a reason for it.
Yeah,
there are people in the business that told me they wanted it to overrun Saturday night's main event. So people, they wanted people not to tune out. But now you have a computer and a TV, or 3 computers in your room, and you can watch it. I watched most of AEW and NXT at the same time.
I believe you posted that. You had a picture of both screens rolling at one time. But it is hard to maintain and keep an eye on both and be fully invested sometimes. I will say that part here. Jay giving it an 11 out of 10. He really loved the show.
Oh, I did too. Let's go down the matches, Double K.
Yeah, let's run it for the top here. We covered that big title change there at the end. But let's jump to the other part of the show. I want to make sure I have my results here in front of me. Give me just one moment. I want to start at the top here. We start with the AEW World Trios title match. The Ops of Shibata, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Samoa Joe defeat the Death Riders, retaining those titles over Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Gabe Kidd. What did you think of this one?
Oh, I thought it was great. Samoa Joe got hurt in the match, and they carried him out. I have to say that in terms of the entire roster of AEW, as long as he has been in the business, Samoa Joe, when you see his entrance and you see him come into the ring, it's like he never aged. He is the most over guy in that company. I mean, and obviously he needs to get out for a little while because he was injured, but it was a really good match. I'd give it a 7. It was great action.
The men's casino gauntlet match. This saw MJF defeat a flurry of different talent that also included Brody Lee, Josh Alexander, Juice Robinson sporting a new look as well. Takeshita, Kota Ibushi, Mark Briscoe, Matt Caster, Mystico, and Ricochet, along with Roderick Strong and the Beast Mortos. This I thought was too long. This was a 34-minute match, nearly 35-minute match.
Did you really? There was so much action. The only thing that bothers me about the Gauntlet match is it's too reminiscent of the Royal Rumble, with more people coming in and the buzzer. But I thought there were some great performances by Ricochet. We saw the return of why can't I think of his name here? Tony Storm's guy.
Oh, Juice Robinson.
Yeah, Juice Robinson, right. We saw the return of him, which was really good. I thought it was really good, and MJF stole the victory that someone else was going to get, but he stole the victory, and we knew he was going to win. It kind of set up to me that MJF, if he won this, which I know he was going to, no one told me. I just felt that Moxley's got to lose the title because MJF against Hangman Page is the match. That would be a lot better than MJF against Jon Moxley.
Before we're done, I'll talk about why that match is important. For me, I just thought, even though you have all this talent, you have this massive show, you have all of these entrances, which in a stadium are much more of an entrance. And I will say this, the production of this felt big time.
Wasn't it great?
Huge stage. They had all these elaborate things, but when you have that many guys coming out to the ring, the movement in the ring kind of felt plodding for that many people. It didn't have the pop or the sizzle of that many people being in the ring. For me, I'm not saying it was a bad match. I'm just saying it underwhelmed me when I saw the lineup for it and then the possible surprises. I expected a little bit more of it. I did like you did, that finish where MJF stole that pinfall from Mark Briscoe, who hit a JJ driver, his brother's finisher.
I will tell you that the heat between MJF and Mark Briscoe wasn't allowed to be as violent as it should have been.
And that was a part of the build for this match.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think that kind of came out. I mean, I know they alluded to it a bit, but it didn't really, you didn't get that a lot, So for me, that was an issue. The AEW TNT title situation. Adam Cole hits the ring. We learn that he is suffering an injury of some kind. The severity of it isn't clear. Now, this is Adam Cole, who has had a lot of very unfortunate injuries in his career, specifically since he came to AEW from WWE, including a serious concussion. Yeah. And then he had a leg injury that really kind of affected the angle he was doing with MJF.
Absolutely.
They got the headline a stadium. They got to perform in front of 80,000 people, the biggest non-WWE show ever, one of the biggest wrestling shows ever.
At Wembley.
And it was amazing. And that was, a major event for them. But since then, it's been a very, very tough road for him. It's been stop and start and stop and start. And he gets this TNT championship. He gets this injury from Kyle Fletcher, who a lot of people thought would win this match.
I was one of them.
After this situation of a fatal four-way that ties in Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, the Sons of Texas, along with Daniel Garcia and, of course, Kyle Fletcher, who was already going to challenge for the title. Dustin Rhodes, the beloved son of Texas, a great guy in the late stages of his career. This will likely be his last in-ring wrestling contract. He wins. I know some people wanted Kyle Fletcher online, but I know you love this finish. You like this, but the circumstance with Adam Cole, I heard some people really complain that they simply couldn't flip the entire stadium back because there was a lot of people who got the impression that maybe this is the last time we might see Adam Cole.
Well, that I have he'd be great on the mic. He'd be really good as part of the broadcast team. I don't think it's the last time we're going to see him, but maybe in action we might see. It might be the last time we see him in an actual match. I thought the Dustin Rhodes reaction was bittersweet. It was nice to see his nephews come out. I don't know why the Von Erich boys came out. I guess it's Texas, and why Kevin didn't come with them because he was
Mhm.
probably there. Um, but the emotion of Dustin Rhodes winning that match took me over more so than the match. Really did. It was the second thing on that show that was an emotional moment. And I don't think it brought anybody down. And I don't think the Adam Cole thing brought anybody down either. I didn't think it slowed things down. It was like in baseball with somebody retiring and the game goes on. Just, I thought it was terrific, Kev.
This was a high stakes tag team match with Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay taking on the EVPs, Matthew and Nick
Yeah.
Jackson, the Young Bucks. If Swerve and Ospreay won, they would get the Bucks out of their EVP executive power roles where they can override
Mhm.
matches. And if they lost, this was a kind of an odd caveat. You had to have stakes, though. That meant that Swerve and Will Ospreay couldn't challenge for a world title for one
I'm
calendar.
glad we're there. I'm going to say that I'm so glad that Osprey and Swerve Strickland let the Bucks showcase what they do best. I texted several of the wrestlers saying that since the days of the Rock and Roll Express, I haven't seen a tag team that well oiled
Mhm.
in ages. The Young Bucks were perfect. And I know if they worked the match out ahead of time, you knew that Swerve and Osprey didn't have a cohesive tag team uh, between the two of them because they've never teamed before. The Young Bucks made that match against those two superstars look absolutely fantastic. And the Bucks took the loss, at the very end. But I
Mhm.
have to tell you that the Bucks were so slick. I was so impressed with what they did in that match. I can't get over it. That match was an 11 on a 1 to 10 scale to me.
Absolutely. It seems like the ratings over on cagematch.net are pretty high for that. They kind of pick up with this show. Got an 8.3 out of 10 currently. And
Yeah, do we have
Swerve,
any comments from the fans about this match?
I'll jump in there and see if we got
Yeah,
some people joining us here
please
as well.
do.
See what you guys
Please
think
do.
here.
Do some
Um,
jumping, Double K.
I'm trying for it. People saying agreed. The Bucks are the worst thing about AEW. I don't know if they are.
Well,
Uh,
the characters are, but they're so great in the ring.
Oh no, I don't question their wrestling ability at all. I did have I was kind of hot and cold on their characters recently,
Yeah,
but
me
it
too.
is interesting. I will say this though, this kind of brings them down in a humbling way, which I think is good because it allows them to reboot their characters. I think they got as much out of evil executive Matt and Nick as they could,
Correct.
and the evil elite thing had run its course. They need to have something different. They need a complete refreshing of their characters, I think. Uh,
They were fab. The match was fabulous. I can't even say it was an 11 on a scale of 1 to 10. It was that good.
mm-hmm. Other people bring up the Von Erich brothers hold the ROH six-man tag team titles with Dustin. That is true. But hey, ROH is kind of low on the totem pole of people's perceptions on things. I understand that, but that's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
I think what Tony Khan needs to do is get a broadcast TV space for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, it needs proper television. It
Yeah,
needs like
yeah, it really does. Any company needs proper television.
yeah, yeah. Women's casino gauntlet match. This one goes 27 minutes.
Yeah,
I didn't catch as much of this. Athena victorious though. Athena in her home state of
yeah,
Texas.
that's
Certainly
good.
gets
It
a good
was too
reaction.
long. Too
Mhm.
long.
Too long for you?
Yeah, that the men's wasn't. This one was. I'm a big fan of Megan, by the way. Very, very big
Megan
fan.
Bayne, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. The Pegasus.
I think that AEW has uh, a future super talent in her. And I want to go back up to a match we were talking about before with the Dustin Rhodes match. That
Mhm.
when we were giving out awards at PWI for like future champion, I don't know if it's going to be an AEW or WWE down the line, but Kyle Fletcher is a future champion. All right, back to this match.
I saw a lot of people very upset that he did not win this match.
Oh, he should have. He's great. But Megan Bayne, I think, should have won this. She is an amazing superstar.
I thought it was all right, but I mean, for 27 minutes on a 5-hour show, I just didn't think it needed that much time.
No,
it was just too long. The Hurt Syndicate with MJF and MVP at ringside defend successfully the AEW World Tag Team titles over Jet Speed, Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey, and the Patriarchy, Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. 18 minutes, almost 19 minutes.
How the hell is Shelton Benjamin better than he ever was?
He's got the fountain
better than his rookie days. He's better than his OVW days. He's better than his WWE days. He is fabulous. He's like at the height of the pinnacle of his career.
Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm, one of the more over characters.
Well, wait, do you have a comment about that, man?
I didn't. It was a solid match, but it didn't strike me as anything massively compelling. It had a lot of features. I thought Mike Bailey really came out in this match and was the motor of it.
It was a Shelton Benjamin showcase.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I kind of agree with your take on that. Was about what I was saying.
Yeah.
Jumping to the women though, timeless Tony Storm. We kind of saw this one coming months away. I thought this was one of the better worked matches in terms of his storyline to get to it as well. And this one went 25 minutes. It was Tony Storm defeating Mercedes Moné. This is Mercedes' first real big loss in AEW, and a significant one as well. What did you think of this one, Bill?
It had a main event feel from the beginning. I think this was one of the matches that the people were one of 3 title matches that the people were looking forward to. And it's amazing that at her weight, that Tony Storm can be so agile to work with someone like Mercedes Moné. No, I like the match. I'd give the match about an 8. I thought it was really good. I didn't think it was spectacular. I thought it was really good, and I liked Luther's interference a couple of times in it.
The match, I think the most people had the highest praise for on the evening, and just in terms of just pure bell-to-bell action, was a affair that we've seen in Japan quite a few times, and it was a match ever since he signed with AEW that people were clamoring for and hoping once Kenny Omega got healthy that we could get Okada versus Omega. It has been at the Tokyo Dome before, maybe the best modern wrestling rivalry outside of WWE in the past 10 years. They would unify the AEW Continental and International titles, a unified title match here. Kazuchika Okada victorious over Kenny Omega, 31 minutes. Obviously, they form a new championship. Now, this is a match. What do you think here? What do you think of the direction of Kenny Omega taking a loss here? Obviously, I think a match this big, it can have some gaga in it, but you kind of need a clean, definitive finish if you want to do a rematch.
He's not hurt by the loss. He did great. The two of them, years ago, a wrestler told me it takes 2 to tango to do this perfectly, and they were in perfect sync with each other. The fans at AEW love the lucha style and the Japanese style, and they got the very best of the Japanese style tonight.
They definitely did. I mean, if you wanted that 5-star style match, if you wanted a Tokyo Dome style, you got that match for 31 minutes. And this is a match that I think warrants being as long as it was. Yep. Obviously,
and Kenny
the new
Omega,
champion crowd, Adam.
Kenny Omega, I've had diverticulitis, so I've been there. I never had the surgery, but I've had it. So I know what he's been through, and just moving sometimes can be hard. But for him to come back from the surgery and everything and perform at the level he performed against such a talented Japanese warrior, it was amazing. And I loved the entrances. I thought they were great.
Yeah, the entrances, I will say that, some people say AEW doesn't have the flash or the sizzle or the sauce that WWE did. I think they really, especially in a stadium show, when JoJo Offerman came out and she sang part of Swerve's entrance, I thought that was particularly fun. The lighting they did for Tony Storm, I thought that
I was
glitz and
wondering what that was all about, Kev. I wasn't sure why she was doing that.
Oh, it's the old school movie vibes, man. I mean, she went for the moon with it here. So we got a new champion. We ran down the whole card. Overall, I think this is a great night for AEW. A day. What did you think of them doing the pivot where they did it earlier in the afternoon? If they would have went head to head with NBC and WWE, do you think that would have been worse? I mean, obviously they were head to head for about the first hour of the show, and then WWE kind of went unopposed on the second hour of Saturday.
Well, I don't know how NXT. I don't know how NXT did. I watched both at the same time, so I don't know
WWE. It's worth noting WWE NXT Great American Bash was head to head today with almost all of their show was head to head.
But if you were watching the Great American, if you were watching the AEW All In, I'm going to say that you would find it very hard to switch to another show. That's how good it was.
Some people praising it.
Too long.
Yeah, too long. I think that's the most critical thing. I think you could have done the show in 4 hours. And it's also worth noting they had a 0 hour. They had a pre-show that had more matches on it that I still
Do we have any guest comments before we take off?
It's too much, you know. So yeah, Brian Salazar, best match of the night was the Young Bucks versus Strickland, and Ospreay better than WWE tonight. So obviously that's a natural conversation. People are going to compare both all three of the shows here too.
Keep it going,
and we still have WWE Evolution tomorrow. Keep going. Mercedes is gormless. I don't know what you mean by that. Tony Gitt is Mercedes has never ever played a character just dumb and bad. Okay. Great mentor coach role. Yes, Christian Cage on the loss tonight. That was I didn't expect him to win.
We forgot about Edge coming out and saving Christian.
Kobe, his big return. Yeah. That was the post match of it. Yeah. What did you think?
And
that was a weird return. I'm sorry, that was a weird return. Weird. Weird for me and how it was executed.
But him coming out and looking at Christian and saying, go find yourself. So now we have two WWE veterans definitely going to team up again. And no matter how old they are, it doesn't matter. Them reuniting for one match will draw massive numbers.
Yeah, and if I was AEW, I'd run that match in Canada. I would absolutely put that match in Canada and make some money with it. Josh Henson says
when Canada becomes a state of the United States, that might happen.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Back to Saturday's main event. Is it a worked injury? Is it a real thing? Is it an angle? The conversation continues with Seth Rollins. Pro 138 318 says Seth injured probably messed up the whole plan for the show. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think they're going to do something with it. Maybe, they keep talking about Braun Breaker talking about how many times he beat Seth Rollins, but he respects him. Maybe this will be a rib from Braun Breaker saying you couldn't beat LA Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
A lot of people here going in here. Dan Davidson, bro, Bill and bro Kev, do you think the Great Bash, the same back in the 1980s we watched growing up watching it live? I didn't get to see Great American Bash yet. I want to check that out before I watch Evolution tomorrow, the all women's card that WWE is presenting.
Wait, is he talking about the Great American Bash back in the day?
Yeah, back in the day. What do you think of Great American Bash back in the day? You
I was there. I was there for all of them. I was shooting pictures at ringside and doing interviews for PWI.
Yeah, were you there when they were like the tour type shows that the NWA did those?
Absolutely. I was at Jim Crockett Promotions for all the big shows.
When people bring up Great American Bash, what's the first kind of like moment or memory that comes to mind, especially when you were ringside for most of those shows?
Well, anything with Dusty Rhodes or Ric Flair in it.
Mm-hmm.
But the big one where they brought Flair in on a helicopter.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah. They use that so many video packages with Ric Flair. That to let you know that Rick was a big deal. They would go to that footage.
Yeah. And by the way,
go ahead.
You VHS collectors, there is Gordon Soley and I hosted a VHS of the Great American Bash. You can probably find it on eBay somewhere.
CL says All In tonight was a great show. Great show. And other people saying, me Izzy says WWE gave a final FU to WCW. I don't know if they did. Because, the video packages and like memories of Goldberg tonight building up to his last match. I will say this, they really hammered down the most that this was his last match. In the build, I will say that about Goldberg. They said it a little bit like he'll have one more match, but they didn't like hammer it into the story until tonight. I will say that was odd.
Yeah, they didn't lie. They didn't lie.
No.
Neither did Goldberg. He said this would be it. But now here's my question. He didn't like the way he went out the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think, because obviously he'd be involved in what the finish is this the way you would have wanted to see him go out the second time? It was not for me. I wanted to see him get the belt, and lose it to Seth Rollins either tonight or tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, or 2 days from now on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, if he won the title, it would simply be a hot transitional championship thing for him to be able to retire a champion and he loses the title.
Right.
And
exactly.
But I don't think that would have been worth it for me. It would have felt like a cheap hollow shock pop. It's big and it doesn't have the lasting impact. I thought you got the most out of Goldberg that you could. I thought the interesting thing would have been Gunther beats him. Gunther's spent. Everyone's getting in the ring to celebrate Goldberg, even though he lost the match at the end of his career, big triumph thing. Rollins comes out and says, "Get the hell out of the ring. You, me, Gunther now. No, you're spent now. I'm gonna," and then he blasts him out, and then now you can have a good time.
What's wrong? Because every website, including the shows I do, we all predicted that.
Mm-hmm.
It was too predictable.
Yeah, maybe they just want to keep you really, really guessing with when he's going to cash in.
They
really, really do. Here we go.
We have one or two more before we wrap up for the night.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to get at least one or two more before we got here. Josh says Goldberg is 58, and it was talked about constantly how hard it was for him to prepare for the match. He couldn't fake him beating Gunther. Then you bury Gunther. Nah, Gunther is the next WWE Lesnar. Here's the thing. I think Gunther got the most out of Bill Goldberg.
Yeah.
Bill Goldberg got the most out of him that he could. I'm not saying it was a great match. I'll say this. I was at Ric Flair's last match where a pacemaker Ric Flair had a momentous occasion. It was the affair of him coming out and doing an entrance and putting on the gear one more time and having this elaborate, very heavy, wild, interference-driven tag team match. And Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal and the crew and Andrade working a great match.
They did the best they could with him.
They did the best they could.
Yeah.
In terms of final matches of people coming out of retirement to do one more match and then call it a career, I would go with the Goldberg match over that.
Okay. I'd say it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, just to put it into perspective, So that was my take here. Other people saying Ric Flair.
What do you think?
What do you think, Bill?
He doesn't want to talk about it.
Okay, I understand.
By the way, Bill Goldberg and Jerry Lawler are the only two people that are in the WWE Hall of Fame that thanked the magazines for helping them before the internet. So I want to thank Bill Goldberg in person again on here for doing that, mentioning me and the magazines, and also to Jerry the King Lawler. Just pop that out of my head. We have time for one more question.
Here we go. From Saturday night's main event that launches us into New York, New Jersey, in the shadow of New York City, the upcoming SummerSlam, a 2-night affair. This will be the first 2-night SummerSlam. Troy bringing this up. 3 weeks until SummerSlam, 2 matches announced, one of them being this big celebrity match that was put together with Jill Roll tag teaming with Randy Orton to take on Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre.
I love it.
And then we're going to get Cena versus Cody too. What other matches do you think can come together? How can WWE make this 2-night card as big as it can be if you're going to do 2 nights of SummerSlam?
Well, I don't know right now because I need to watch Evolution tomorrow because one of the girls' matches has got to be a main event.
Yeah.
Right now, the tag team division is lost. This is not. I want to see the WWE tag team division be steady teams and a cohesive title defense maybe every week. It just, to me, the tag team title scene is just not a great title
Yeah.
division right now. I
Yeah,
think the women's division.
I just don't get it after after WrestleMania, they had that great TLC match on SmackDown that was just incredible and felt like it should be on a pay-per-view or a premium live event, and it got put on SmackDown. That happens, but the guys really ran with it. I think the Street Profits are a fun, braggadocious team. I completely agree with you. A lot to come together. Go ahead, Bill.
Who is Gunther's next challenger for SummerSlam? Who would you pick? El Grande Kaiser.
It'll be interesting. I mean, if they're going to keep him Raw heavy, there's a handful of names that could come up there. Is Punk in that conversation?
Punk should be in that conversation. They barely mentioned him tonight once.
No. Is Seth Rollins feigning an injury and he's going to do a cash-in type scenario? Is that going to get to it? Are we going to get Gunther versus LA Knight in some way? So it'll be interesting.
I want to see Gunther Braun Breaker.
That would be interesting.
I want to see that spear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That'll do it for us. Of course, you can join Bill Apter across the entire spectrum of everything sports key to wrestling. You can check him out on Unscripted.
Yes.
On WrestleBinge, you have him here on Unscripted as well, on Wrestling Time Machine with Teddy Long and Matt Davis.
And here with you, Bill. Okay. And by the way, for you fans who would be looking for me at SummerSlam, I will not be there. I am co-hosting in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Wrestling Gathering in Charlotte. I will be there Thursday, Friday, and part of Saturday, and then go watch the SummerSlam on pay-per-view both Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to miss it in person, but Double K, maybe we'll be doing this again on Sunday night of SummerSlam weekend.
I would love to do that if we could pull that off. That would be something else. Dougie Fresh says he does have one more question. This one is critical. I know.
Oh, Dougie Fresh is a regular.
There's a book behind you. There's a book behind you. It's called "Is Wrestling Fixed?" Dougie Fresh is asking about your book called "Is Wrestling Fixed?" I have to ask you.
There's an underline. Is wrestling fixed? I didn't know it was broken.
Oh, there you go.
And you can. I wrote this 10 years ago. Thank you, Dougie. I wrote this 10 years ago, and it's the story of my life in pro wrestling that's still going on. And Jim Cornette said something very important about my book. He said, Bill Apter's book sucks because he doesn't bury anybody. It's a fun book. Thank you, Kev. It's a fun book.
That's the most fun book thing of all time, Bill.
He did. It's a fun book, and it's a bathroom book. It's not in any kind of order, but it's a fun book about my road trips, and I talk about everything from the days of Buddy Rogers to Bruno, all the way to modern day as of 10 years ago, because there's no update just yet. But yeah, and there's also the audio book. I voiced the audio book. So if you don't want to get the book, go to Audible. If you have a membership on Audible, it's an audio book, and I do all my wrestling imitations in there too. Yeah.
I love it. And you can get the book right now on Amazon. You just search "Is Wrestling Fixed?" ? I'll drop the link to that for you guys.
What's the answer? What is wrestling fixed?
I didn't know it was broken.
It was broken. Before we leave, do you do any wrestling imitations?
I do a couple. I do Stone Cold, little bit of Stone Cold, Bill Apter, Willie Apter, Slick Willie. I used to be able to do a Macho Man, but I think Macho Man is a little bit.
It sounds like Stone Cold.
Yeah, once you do them back to back, they sound too close to each other.
Well, you know what?
I've always enjoyed a Terry Funk. Like the wish.
My Terry Funk or yours?
What's your Terry Funk? What Terry Funk you got?
Well, you know something, Bill Apter, you've been a pain in my ass. Leave me alone. And I want to tell all the viewers here that you have not been a pain in my ass at all, because the Dream loved all of you that showed up here. All my little babies. Take us out of here, Double K.
All right. If everything you watched tonight was fun, hit the like button, share the link with your wrestling buddies. Let them know the podcast you watched here was enjoyable as well. Get into the comments if you're watching on demand, even if you're not live with us. Want to know what you thought of AEW All In and WWE Saturday Night's main event and the final match of Goldberg. Sound off. Also, join the channels. You get extra bonus shows like Wrestle Votes Radio, where all those scoops are broken. That happens every Thursday. Yes. Is wrestling fixed? I didn't know. It was broken. There you go. Get the hat on. There we go. We'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.
See you at the